Bangers and mash is a cheap, easy weeknight meal that is popular in the United Kingdom. I have a friend there and he introduced to us bangers and mash, and we've incorporated it into our family's regular weeknight meals because of how delicious it is and inexpensive. So if you want to level up your bangers and mash, I'll show you how. You can use whatever type of sausage you want. I prefer Italian sausage. Bratwurst is a little more traditional. Yukon Golds or russets both work really well for mashed potatoes. For the onion gravy, we have onions, beef stock, a little bit of thyme. Red onions have great flavor and will make it a nice dark sauce. The white onions are going to be almost too crisp. That's good for Mexican. We're going to go with the yellow onions for this. The most traditional side dish to accompany bangers and mash is beans and peas. There are a lot of different options. If you want to add your own seasoning, you can get the plain pinto beans. If you really want it to be authentic, get the Heinz beans with tomato sauce. Get what you know people are going to eat and what you're going to enjoy most. My family prefers the sweeter flavor profile. It works really well with the gravy, the sausage, the potatoes. Peas are the most traditional side. I suggest any green vegetable, whether it's broccoli, green beans, Brussels sprouts. All right, we'll start off by cutting the onions. Heads and tails. Cut it in half from top to bottom. Peel off the outermost thin skin that will turn too papery. So when you're slicing onions to use as strips, not dicing them, cut them lengthwise, top to bottom. Partly because they will cook better in the pan, but also because when you're cutting them this way, it just really helps reduce the smell. It's the smell that causes your eyes to water. Now I'm going to work on the potatoes. I do about 1 potato per person, depending on how much mashed potatoes you think they'll actually eat. I don't want to cut them too small for mashed potatoes. The larger they are, the less water they'll absorb. Now I'll fill it up in the sink. Make sure they're completely covered with water. A little extra.
Keep your station clear.
We're going to actually start the sausages in a cold pan because that will help the fat render a little better. The sound is why they call them bangers. All right, while those are cooking, I'm going to start the beans. Don't drain the beans. You want them nice and saucy, like the British. You want these on not the highest setting, necessarily. Otherwise, you're just going to burn the outside. The inside will still be raw. Secret ingredient for the potatoes is freshly grated Parmesan. About a 1/4 cup. Approaching 130. So I'm going to use the same pot to make the gravy as I make the sausages because I want to be able to incorporate the fond on the bottom of the pan from the sausages for all that flavor and grease that renders out of the sausages as they cook. Once the sausages are done, I'm going to transfer them to another dish, and then I'll make the onion gravy in the same pan. When the potatoes are boiling, I set a timer for 15 minutes. Alright, the sausages are looking nice and brown now. Oh yeah, 165. Sausages are done. Let's put them back on the plate. In the same pan, we're going to caramelize the onions. Turn down the heat. When you're caramelizing the onions, you do not want high heat. That sautés them, which is very good for Asian dishes and other things. be a Philly cheesesteak, not for caramelized onions. Now if I was really caramelizing the onions, I would go low and slow, and I kind of go in between. Turn the heat down, but hot enough that it's not going to take forever. We really want them to reduce. Some garlic to help that start flavoring it. Smashing it like that, mincing it, is just going to release flavors, but I'll remove the whole chunks of garlic towards the end. You're seeing a lot of that fond on the bottom now, so what I'm going to do is take a little bit of the beef stock and just add a splash to it to deglaze the bottom. To help with the caramelization process, I'm going to add a pinch of sugar. Not too much, we don't want it sweet. Pinch of kosher salt, a few grains of black pepper. Now let's drain the potatoes. Turn off the heat. Turn that to the pan and immediately start mashing. And then add in butter. I do at least a full tablespoon per potato. More butter than you think you need. So once all the butter is incorporated, add a splash of milk or cream, or half and half, which is what I like to use. And then just adjust it until they are the consistency you like. That looks good. Make sure you don't burn the onions. Let's go ahead and add some butter. 2 tablespoons butter, 2 tablespoons of flour. And now we'll throw in a sprig of thyme. Let the flour cook for a minute or two before adding more liquid. A couple splashes at a time. Increase the heat a bit. Alright, once that's incorporated, add some more liquid. Add the rest of the liquid and let's bring that to bubble. A splash of Worcestershire. Worcestershire? Worcester? 2 generous pinches of salt. I like to use white pepper. A small sprinkle of garlic powder. Don't overdo it. Parmesan cheese. Needs more salt. I'm going to add more cream. Not quite as dry. Those are mashed potatoes. Mash. Potatoes are done. Add a little more broth. Alright, let's give the broth a taste. I am going to add a little bit more salt to it now. And the sauce is a touch bland. I'm going to add some acid, apple cider vinegar, just a few drips. Now we are going to remove the thyme and the garlic. And then we put the sausage back in. So while the peas cook, the sausage will soak up some of that gravy, simmer in it. Let's make the peas. Got half a cup of water, bring to a boil. When the water is boiling, add the peas, some salt and pepper, return to a boil, turn down the heat, cover 2 minutes. Potatoes, add a couple of sausages, covered with some onions and gravy. Drain the peas. Bangers and mash, one of the most traditional recipes from the United Kingdom. Very cheap, very easy to make. It is just as British as Dick Van Dyke's accent in Mary Poppins.